بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قال إني ذاهب إلى ربي سيهديني ربي هب لي من الصالحين فبشرناه بغلام حليم فلما بلغ معه السعي قال يا بني إني أرى في منامي أن يتبعوك فانظر ماذا ترى قال يا أبتي فافعل ما تؤمر ستجدني إن شاء الله من الصابرين. Brothers and sisters, the verses I just recited came from Surah Al-Saf, 37th Surah of the Holy Quran, from 99 verse to 109 verse, talking about the communication between two prophets of God. One is the Father, the other is the Son. The Father is communicating to the Son what was revealed to him in his dream by God, saying that he should take his only son for sacrifice. And he was telling the son, I'm taking you to what? Sacrifice. Now what do you think about it? The son replied by saying that do whatever you were commanded, that you surely will find me among those who will be among the patient ones, the forbearing ones. So that's why it was referred with a title called the Ghulam Halim, the forbearing son. This is the only title given to the child used for sacrifice, that he wanted to be used for sacrifice, that God now substituted him with a ram. Now, there's kind of heated arguments between the Jews and the Christians against the Muslims. The Jews and the Christians argue that the child used there, the son used there, which is found in Genesis chapter 22, verse 2-3, that it was Isaac. But if you observe from this passage which they quote from, which is saying that take thy only son, there was no connotative meaning there or additional inference there. Rather, it said take thy only son, means the only son in the clear English language simply means you have only one child at that time. And we knew that from the biblical perspective that it was only Ishmael that was given birth to by Hagar, who was a slave to Sarah, the wife of Abraham. We know that Sarah had no childbearing. She was barren for 76 years, having no child. She was 76, reached her menopause. She solicited a slave, Hagar, to continue the lineage of Abraham. Hagar accepted, and after Abraham had contact with her, they had a child by the name of Ishmael, which God is my God hears, and God answers my prayer. That's the meaning of Ishmael. Now, the boy was growing 10 years later, 14 years later, God blessed Sarah with a child called Isaac. Then Sarah had some jealousy at that time for Hagar and her son Ishmael, because the father favored the first son more than other sons. So because of that, there was some envy in between. So Sarah had to tell Abraham to take the child and the mother away, so that the Isaac and the mother would not put eyes on them, which Abraham obeyed. And God revealed to Abraham to take that son to Mount Moriah for sacrifice, the only son. Now, who's the son? The son is Ishmael, according to the Muslims. Why? Because there are some narrations in the hadith we found in Tafsir of Ibn Kathir. Tafsir means the explanation of the Quran. Explain that verse, which says that Ibrahim had a son. Ibrahim had a son at the age of 86, and the name of the son is Ismail. And he had another son called Isaac at the age of 99. That person was called Isaac. So, according to them, he said Ishmael was the one that was used for sacrifice. Now, there are some hadith, it's found in many of the tafsir books and history books, that when Muawiyah was asked, he said, who was the son that was used for sacrifice? He said there were two sacrifices with time of Prophet. One is the one for Ishmael, which is Ismail, used for sacrifice, and the one was for Abu Talib, when he did a sacrifice when he was building Zamzam. So some other companions were asked, according to many of the prophets, many of the prophets' companions, some of them were asked, like Umar ibn Ka'ab and even Ka'ab al-Habar was asked. But those were Jews naturally before they became Muslims. They said the Muslims were envied because they believed that the one who was used was Ismail, which is true. That Ishaq was not the one used. Ishaq was the one with progeny. This was from Ishaq. I mean, Ishaq or Yaqub. From Ishaq you get Yaqub. So Allah has blessed Ishaq with Yaqub. From Yaqub we have the 12 children, which from there we have the promised one. So Ismail was the forebearing son. That was why God still blessed him. That's why it's found in the book of Genesis chapter 25, verse 11 to 17, that God blessed Ismail and his children. From there, he has a seed of Muhammad. So, no argument there. The son that was used was what? Ismail. Secondly, another lesson we learn from this passage, or the communication between Ibrahim and his son, Ismail, is that Allah, or God, does not use human sacrifice to atone for sins. He detests it. That's why he quickly substitutes Ismail with a ram. Before Ibrahim got there, when Ibrahim got there, he saw a ram. So he was shocked. God told him, use that ram instead of your son, that he has seen the obedience from your heart. So it's good to obey Allah in anything He tells you. Obey Him, whether it costs you your life. Also, Allah does not use human sacrifice for atonement, rather use animals. And the book of Deuteronomy chapter 24 verse 16, and also the book of Ezekiel chapter 18 verse 4, and the book of Ezekiel chapter 18 verse 26, it said, a father cannot bear the sin of his son, rather the son bears the sin of the father, that everyone must bear his own sin. Same way, Romans 3 verse 23, everyone has fallen short of the glory of God. That means all are sinners before God. So we should not say that one carries the sin of others. No, God can clean up the sins of everyone if He wishes. It's Allah's decision to make. Well, sister, thank you very much for this important episode in Become of Islam. My name is Sadiq on this platform. Thank you.